Hello Internet, this is LordMaddog, and today we're going to go have an overview of my parkour element that I am put up on GitHub for free. We're going to go ahead and do a quick demo I have of it, and then we're going to go ahead and go to each part of it into coding, and if this gets enough views, then I will actually have a tutorial on how to transport it to another character and maybe even a tutorial on how each part works. So we're going to go ahead and jump right on in. We have a portal back there that goes back to the third person map, the default map of the game. So we have here, I'm going to go ahead up here and pick up Sprint unlocked. Yes. So sprinting is pretty easy basically in most things. All you have to do is change your walk speed, but I have changed it so your walk speed changes over time. So it takes 3 seconds to get to full speed, and when you start running, see now I'm running, and oops, I got hit. I was fooling around a little too much. Okay, I have full ragdoll physics a bit in the game, so you can stand up from it. Here we got crouch unlock. The sprinting also my sprinting system also has a stamina system, so it slowly degrades stamina over time. We'll look at that when we're done. So we're gonna crouch. Crouch actually lowers your capsule. I don't have the capsule visible, but see also you hear if I stand up, hit. Okay, yep, died. Shouldn't have done that, but yes. So it actually lowers the capsule and raises the capture when you stand up, and you can easily add more functionalities to load it. There we go. So, oops, did not. Oops, that was really dumb. Okay, sorry about that. Stand up real quick. All right, let's run to make sure it's hitting me, and then not go too close too fast. Here. All right, slide unlock. Now slide, you have to be going at a somewhat decent speed to do it. There we go, we're sliding. It is there's not much more to say about a slide. Slide is pretty easy to do as well. It also requires you to lower the capsule and everything and change the character position. And it's easily very customizable. I have it set up here. Now this one was hard, manteling. This is, here, I'll go ahead and show you. That's what manteling is. You're pulling yourself up. It has multiple heights, different things. I have like 7 different possible heights with different animations. So as it is a pretty difficult thing to do. It took me a while to figure out how to code it right. I use motion warping, so it is, you cannot use it on anything that does not have motion warping. I think motion warping was introduced in 4 point something. Can't remember. It might have been 5.0 that it was introduced in Unreal Engine, but this is already set for 5.2. So it'd be a little bit harder to transport it back past anything lower than 5.2 anyway. But it's your air dash now. There's the go. Now, as I'm going to say, pretty much everything's pretty easy to do, but that's not quite true here. Air dash, yay! So that's air dashing. This was originally using motion warping to do with that, but I found with motion warping, air dash, what would happen is that you get to the end of your motion warp and you just kind of come to a stop. So I ended up using launch character and animation Notifies for that. Here we go. This is dodge unlocked. So we dodge. You cannot be hit by a projectile while dodging. There, it takes your collision and turns it off from projectiles, so you can't get hit by projectiles. And they also have it so the damage you become invincible while you're dodging as well. And also the cool thing about my dodging is that you can roll in the direction you want. So if I'm locked onto something, which I don't actually have lock on in this but you can change your direction while you're rolling. So that really makes most games, they lock you in on when you're rolling, and I do not like it. This, you can actually direct right wherever you're going to roll. See there, I have full capability of what aim direction I'm rolling. So that is done through animation Notifies. There we go. Vaulting, obviously, really cool vaulting over stuff there. That's animation that was in that got from the Echo. What was it? Okay, double jump. There's a saying, the animation for vaulting was something I got from UE5's 100 gigabyte download thing. uh, so you can always change out your animation for that. Double jump. Oops. Had a little lag spike there. The mantling there. Double jump. Like that there. It's pretty easy to keep messing up with that there. Double clicked it too fast because my keyboard is going a little out. Space bar. Here we go. Grappling hook. Now this took me a long time to actually get right. Oops. I just cast magic. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that in there. We go. Magic. Wee. Grappling hook. You swing back and forth. And what's cool about grappling hook is I actually have it so you can also lower yourself, and then you can suck yourself in. Wee. As you can see here. And it's a little bouncy, but it's not too bouncy. It took a good bit to try to get this to work right. The thing. And you can also swing back and forth. There we go. Wee. And then you can release it anytime you want. Like so. And double jump up here. Now gliding. Glide unlock. Wee. Yeah, gliding. Wee. If you're worrying about the weird stance that my character currently has, that's because I have mad. Sorry about that. I'll have to cut that out. Okay. So also I have a currently live retargeting to the Aurora character, Paragon Aurora character. So you see here, this is what my character actually looks like. Wall run unlocked. Now wall run took a good bit to get working right as well. Here we go. And if you have a straight wall, you won't have as much of that little jittery I had there. And then we unlock flying. So switch back to character here. Woof. There we flight. And this has many different motions, animations to it. The only thing I'm not entirely pleased about is the white streaks, because they don't quite go the way I want them to. But the streams and everything else, that's pretty nice. The turning is actually really nice too. You see, your character turns as you move, and you can go when you can zoom, go down, fly straight down. Almost. Oops, I got killed. Ouch. Stand up. Let's go back to flying. So yeah, that's pretty much the entire thing. You can go up by pushing spacebar, control to go down, float down. The animations are from Paragon, a combination of Paragons and my own creation. So let's go ahead and fly back to the third person thing, and I'll go ahead and show you some of that coding and talk about it a little bit more. But there's not really much more to talk about. It took me about a month and a half to do this. Do this properly. There we go. Here we are. Now to unlock all my skills again. There we go. Yeah. Yee. All right. So let's go ahead and go into the actual systems. Those errors are from the demo thing. I didn't feel like trying to fix them out. It's not really important. Okay. So let's go to my PreK. Okay, this is the player character. This is what we'll see inside the player character. These are basically just that, like, switch mass, unlock everything, so you don't have to go through the thing to unlock it. Now, there is no save and load system set up yet. I mean, well, period for this, because I don't really... Saving load systems are a pain to set up, and I didn't really need one. You can go ragdoll T. You can do... I didn't show a dash attack, seppuku to kill yourself. And then this is your damage in. It takes it into your parkour component. You don't necessarily need to handle all the damage inside your parkour component. I just did it for this example. And then UI star is player. Now this is player is kind of necessary because what I plan on actually having is that I'm going to make one character, main character, that holds everything from one of my game. And I want to make it so if there will be certain things that if the animal or the creature or the NPC is possessed, it'll tell the system that it's possessed. If it's not possessed, then it'll act differently. So that's kind of an important thing that will be needed for later on build on things. It's not overly important. And the only thing it's used right now is for the ragdoll system, which makes the camera stay with the ragdoll system when you fall, when you ragdoll. If you're possessed, the camera stays there. If you're not possessed, then it doesn't use the tick time for what an NPC or whatever is ragdolled. So it's just a little saving. Event begin play, we initialize our input, initialize our stats, and then UI start, which is this right here. What's all it is a crosshair at the moment. Okay, and then your input mapping, your movement. This is when you die, what happens exactly when you die. So this is because I wanted to have a special system for when I die. You're probably going to want to have your own special system when you die. As you've seen, when I died, I got teleported back to the starting location and then dropped. That's just the way I like my death system. Draw and seethe your weapons. This is your R, default R. You can change the controls. Attack light, a charge attack. This I think is right mouse. Oh, this is a left mouse button. This is right mouse button. These are really easy to copy and paste into another character if you ever want to do that. But then you have to set up what will take most of the time to set up. If you have a different character you're going to take this into, is going to be setting up your animation blueprint, which we'll take a look at real quick after a few minutes here. Interact, that's just self-explanatory. It's F button, and then it'll I have a little thing that I have that I'll show you that real quick when I'm done with my F. So if you hold F, I have it. So there's my weapons. I can hold F and draw them, pull them to me. So they'll float around you, and then you can pick them up and pull them out. I know that's not parkour, and the combat system is not complete, but the parkour, everything in parkour is complete, and it's very easy if you don't like the combat stuff to remove it from the system. Oops. Okay, so we got dodge and sprint. This deals with your shift button. Right now is what it's tied to. This has to do with how so you dodge when you release the shift button, because that's how it was in Elden Ring, and I like that system. Now, some people don't like it when you like it when you push your dodge button instead of, but then you can't have your dodge and sprint on the same key like it was in Elden Ring. So basically this is a copy of Elden Ring system. Obviously, I don't have access to the code, but I checked it out and I made it as close as I could to that system. So if you've been sprinting for a while, then when you release the shift button, you don't dodge, and that's I think it's delay time. I do not know exactly where I have that set up. Well, I do, but I'm going to take me a couple of seconds to figure it out. Not pressed. Perform dodge. Okay, yes. Right there. So it's all pretty much self-explanatory once you open up the code, but it takes a lot to remember everything. And then you can toggle walk, which is no, wait, do I have that toggle walk with key? I don't remember what the key I have on toggle walk. But anyway, you can toggle your walk speed. That's just really simple. So then we got over here. This is your jumping action. This is actually input push. This has a very long string of ifs and on it, because your jump enables you to do vaulting, enables you to do manteling, enables you to do wall running, enables you to do double jump, and enables you to initiate glide, and it also enables you to get up. So your jump button has a lot of stuff on it, and I think contextual buttons is probably a lot more useful than I'll have to go back to PVC player here. Contextual buttons is a lot more useful than having so many different controls for each one. Now you can easily change it with that, because if you see here, if let's say you want to have vault on a specific key, then you just have that, you have it take from your parkour component, and then you put it to a key binding. And same thing with any of the other bindings. And so you want to have mantling on a specific key, same thing. Wall run, you can have them all on different keys. So it doesn't have to be on the jump key, but I like it on the jump key because this way. I have Coyote Time. Coyote Time, if you're not sure, know about that, that means when you slightly step off a ledge, you still have a millisecond, or I think in my case, 0.3 milliseconds to jump. In older games, platformer games, you would very often, because hitboxes weren't very direct with the box. Like their collision models weren't direct on the platformers, so a lot of times they would stop a little bit before the platform actually visually stopped, and you go to jump and you couldn't jump, you fall to the ground. It was just absolutely a pain. So Coyote Time was invented, and that is referring to the Roadrunner. The Roadrunner TV series that used to run way back when I was a kid. Anyway, Coyote Times means that you have a few seconds in the air and you can still jump. So that's what Coyote Time is. This is on movement mode change. This deals with a few different things to stop stuff like see here, end flight and crouching on and off. So when your movement mode change, you'll stop crouching or you'll stop flying. Make sure everything's going well. It just keeping things intact. I was over here in interact, walk. Okay, here's some magic stuff. Now these are just, except for grappling hook, most of the stuff besides grappling hook and rope length and slide. Okay, well actually that's not quite true. Actually, activate flight. I thought there was a magic cast. Okay, so yeah, the only thing in there is fire enchantment and magic cast. That they are done. They work, but they're just they're not actually part of Parkour system. So then we have state change. This is special state change. This is if you want to have something special happen. Most of the time you're not going to have something special happen, but this is just for there, so you can actually have something special happen if your certain state is done, like maybe a particle effect or anything you really want. Like for my case, I have crouching. When you stop crouching, I actually have crouch off just to make sure that there is nothing more running with the crouch system that I have. And I found that it's the easiest way for that system. I probably could have programmed a little bit different, but it was, already set up, so I might as well use it. So that is all that's actually inside your character. Yeah, that's it. Now we'll go back into the actual parkour system. This has a whole lot of stuff in here. Right now we're looking at glide tick. I'm not going to explain exactly what each one does, because that's just, like I said, that just take a long time. This is on my movement change. I had that up. Fly tick, glide tick, magic system. This is all, if you know anything about coding, this is all basic. Well, no, actually, most of it you probably wouldn't be able to understand. It's kind of goes in pretty deep, some of it. But anyway, it's all just stuff. It's the actual mechanics of the systems which you just saw me demonstrate. Like this is here, slide and smoothly, which means, or crouch and smoothly. Basically, what I do is if you don't have this to readjust your capsule height and where the character's at, what happens, your character will snap up and snap down at the same time, and you'll get a jerk, and it's not nice looking. So this stops that. This is just a quick timer. It only lasts for, at the end of a crouch or end of a slide, it only lasts for like half a second or maybe a second, depending on the slide or crouch. And it makes it so you smoothly stand up. You're smoothly, yeah, that's it, smoothly stand up. This is your fly forward, end flight, crouch, empowered. That was the empowered, that little animation. That's all that does, is the animation I had when I picked up the unlock things. Magic time activator. This has to do with magic and spawning magic. And I can show you a little bit of that. Like I said, that's not really part of the parkour stuff. That's just my own playing around with. Right now, the only thing it casts is Ice Spike, but I do have it so it can do more than that. Whee! Oh no! Where are you going? Oops. I don't have I didn't set that up in this level, so it's going to take it all the way. Bye-bye. Okay, so I think that's pretty much the only thing I really want to cover with the actual event graph in the parkour component. I do have other components installed on here. I do have a stat component, but you can change that. Anything you wait, that's just basic stats, health and stamina. That's it. That's all it has in it basically right now, and dying. So of course you have to have the physical animation. Actually, I don't actually end up using physical animation because Unreal Engine doesn't. Oh, actually, do I? No. I just physical animations is when your animations has some physical information to it, like your legs jelly and bounce around and whatnot. I had that in my game, but I didn't really put much into the parkour component because it's just not necessary. It's still beta. still kind of experimental for Unreal Engine. It's not very good quality yet. It's just like the ragdoll is finally starting to get decent quality. Ragdolls look a little bit more realistic now than they used to. That's greatly due to Unreal Engine 5's mannequin having a lot more bones than it used to. Okay, and then motion warping, that's used for quite a few of the abilities and stuff. For motion warping is used for manteling and vaulting and slide attack, sliding. Yeah, I think I have it in sliding as well. So like this skill here, which one, that's a motion warp there. So it's that, yeah. It has to do with what do they call them? Root motion animation, and then you motion warp your root motion animation to our locations. Now let's go ahead and look at my animation blueprint. So we're going to go here. Quinn. No, actually, it's going to be actually Nanny. The Quinn is a subset of it. Footstep effects. Oh yes, I have footsteps system. I have a footstep system. It's a basic footstep system. I will go ahead. Let's show that real quick to you. I have two footstep systems, but the one that you should probably use, and is the one that's default enabled, is your animation notified. Basically, you got to hit an animation notification inside your animations for every time your foot falls, and then that sends a footstep here. Anima notify footsteps. So when you get your footstep, and it sends out a trace. A sphere trace, because of the type of because I wanted to be able to have footsteps sounding when you're on the walls, when you're running on the walls and whatnot. It sends out a sphere trace. It goes down 10 Z value, and if it hits something, then it will automatically play this footstep effect. And then I have a footstep effect for grass, stone, dirt, water, different things, sound effects. And then after you play your sound effects, you can spawn any type of particle effect or anything else you want to do it. Like you can also, if you have like your sneaking and you want your footsteps to sound lower, you would probably also you probably want to have a branch in here, and then you have something that changes the volume. Actually, how would I do that? Okay, so like if I wanted to have your sneaking sound lower, what I would do is I'd have each one of these things here, they have a volume meter. And so right now the volume is at 1. I would then send an animation notify, which I would have a new variable attached to the volume, and that value would be changed on animation notify inside your system if you want to change the volume when you're sneaking. So here, go back to event graph. So I have a lot of animation notifies that come in here. So I would have let's say a new animation notify through my system and value sneaking, and it would set the volume to lower, and the sneak, it would set the volume back to default. So if you want to have sneak volume, that's how I'd actually do that. So these are all animation notifies. I use animation notifies because it's not hard referencing, and it means that I will be able to do this on any NPC. All this stuff will be able to use on any NPC, not just a player character. We'll have the way I have it set up. So I also have blueprint threading, all that information run through thread safe update animation, and that means I can actually run it on any NPC and not just the one character. And that's I have that all set up that way. Animation graph. Now this is my animation graph. We start off with my main state, my locomotion, and then we have my weapon styles. Like I said, it works, but it's not flushed out, and I'm still working on it, but it's not really part of the Parkour component. I just decided not to remove it because it was going to take a little bit of time extra, and I didn't feel like doing that. Okay, so then you have a crouching animation. This is a blend space. So yeah, when you're moving, yeah, it's just simple blend space for when you're moving. It doesn't have left to right. If you want left to right animations, you're going to have to make them yourself. I don't have them. And then we have camera angle. This is what this actually makes it so you don't have to necessarily have left and right animations. So as your character moves, what happens, your character follows your mouse. See that? See my character's head is following my mouse and looking up where my mouse is at. And because of that's there, I can actually do this, run sideways, and feet forward sideways. So instead of having, here, I'll show you here. Let's go ahead and do an attack with, there we are. Now I'll have jump not available. See this, instead of locking your camera to your character and then having your feet sliding back and forth like this, you don't ever have to lock your camera down, and you can have your, so it's a dynamically changing system. So instead of having to have back and forward animations like I was just talking, sideways side animations, you can use this instead. And I like this, personally I like this system more. I don't like it when my character, now for certain things, momentarily you're going to want to lock your character forward, like when you're swinging a weapon, my character is locked to the camera direction. So see, without your weapon will be swinging off in any random direction, and I did not like that. So I do lock your camera behind your character when you're swinging a weapon for a few seconds, and that makes it so you can also slightly turn your character every time you attack. At the very beginning of your attack, you can change your character's direction. Okay, and the reason why that's a little stilted animation there with the sword is because, like I said, it's a redirected animation to her. So her hand animation has not been refined to grip the sword properly. Okay, so I was in the middle of, where's that? Nanny, here we are, back over here. Camera angle, wall run, this is your wall run animations, your left and right, wall run left and right animations. It goes from the locomotion up into those. Okay, grappling hook, this is my swing animations. This is left, I have a, right here, I think I have like 7 different animations. Oh, actually I have a lot of different animations. So you got all the way up there, you're sliding all the way forward, you got backwards, you got, yeah. You can add more animations to make the when you're on the hook a little bit better. I also have a IK system hooked up to make it look pretty good too. So it's actually, overall, I'm satisfied with the animations when you're grappling hook. Might be a little bit of refining, but not much. Gliding, right now I have a gliding system like what's in Kingdom Hearts 2. It wouldn't take much to change this out to be more like the gliding animations inside, I guess Breath of the Wild. Yeah, it wouldn't take much where you're actually hanging on something. So the system's all there. All you have to do is change the animation systems if you want to have that and have it spawn something. So have it spawn something over top of you or parachute. Basically, the gliding system should work with anything. I also have it so you can change the glide system. So if we go gliding here, I got to put this down, or actually let's drag and drop this into here. Glide, yes. Oh no, here. I'll type over here. Glide. It's easier to find that thing here. Glide tick is what we're actually after. Here we can change the how hot the gravity fall, then the gravity fall rate. Your default gravity fall rate, mine is 45, so you're slowly, and then you can how fast you're moving while you're, how fast you're accelerating, and then your top speed. I have my top speed while gliding being 900. You can change that. And this is how fast you start moving. So like when you're gliding, here we go. Let me get up here real quick. So I have a better glide here. Oops. Yep, there we go. So yeah. So what that does is your start speed. And so it's not like it just snap and you kind of have a, and then once you hit your top speed, then you become more rigid, slightly. And then when your top speed goes down again, you're less rigid. So yeah, and then you can change that how you want it. So basically, before you hit your top speed, you have some inertia flow, and then after you hit your top speed, it locks your inertia in, and you can have a little bit more control. And that way, I found it looks smoothest, looks the nicest, and you can edit that and change that any way you see. real easy. Flying, this is my flying system. This has its complete own system, idle, blend space, and it is a lot of animations. And a lot of them have been taken from Paragon assets and edited to my liking. So I have probably about, I'd say about 100 hours in the flight animations. I'm not really good animator, so that's why it would take me so long. I think if you're a good animator, I think it would have taken you about 30 or so. Instead of 100 hours worth of flight animations, and they can definitely be probably fine-tuned because I'm not an animator. But as you can see here, your flight has a lot of different animations. Yeah, like that one there is a little bit iffy, I think, but you're really not going to be flying backwards like that too much. It's not quite possible. So, but yes, you got the flight left and right, and then you have, as you get faster, you just put out your hands. You can actually change all of this to be more your liking, but there's basically taking out different animations. And if you're turning real fast, you see here you can have more of a turn and different things. Yes. All right, so that's basically the flight. And let's go back to here. And then after the slides, we have our slots animation. So upper body slot, your default slot. That means your montages, how your montages work. That's what that is. And then I have my rigs. Now, every single, like my manteling has IK hand rigs for your hands. My grappling hook has IK hands for my hand. Vaulting. My vaulting does not have an IK rig. Wall run has IK rig for the left and right hand, and these all turn on and off during those things, so your hand will actually stick to the wall. But you have to actually have the collision right on your wall. If you were watching back when I was showing off the hand wall running, you would notice that my hand came away from the wall during that animation, but that's only because the collision on that rock isn't all that great, because it's not designed to be scaled up to that big. But basically, yes, your hand will always be touching the wall. I have that for the IK rig to be on that. And you're going to want to make sure your wall has the right type of collision if you want to make it look really good. And then obviously this is your get up pose. This is for when you're getting up, and then you're done. And I think that's actually everything to do with the IK. I mean, everything to do with the actual parkour system. I hope you find this very useful. This is something you could definitely make a game with. It shouldn't take if you're not really good with coding and whatnot. That's boat coding is my favorite part. I'm okay with I'm marginally okay with animating graphics, particle effects. I understand them. My biggest problem is probably actually world design, but you see I can kind of do decent world design as I was doing. Sorry about the noise in the background. That's my daughter. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. I hope you enjoy. If you do enjoy and I get a lot of views on this video, then I will do some tutorials on how to switch this over. And I also have it on, as I said, GitHub, so you can do pull request. If you use this, I would very much like to see what you did with it. If you add changes or you suggest changes, I would very much like to see that as well. LordMaddog signing off.